It's John Higgins who leads by 3 frames to 1.
Yeah, very close either.
One. Nine. $25.
Centuries.
30.
Well, as you can see, it's a really awkward bridge for this shot because he didn't want to bridge that long, really, but anything else is risking touching the red with his bridge hand.
$38.
Not exactly everywhere. I didn't fancy that one. Maybe annoyed that he didn't take it on now. I don't think he is. Just feel that.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 45.
O'Sullivan then having to settle to close the gap to just 1 since the 2001 final, which of course O'Sullivan won for his very first World Championship.
It looks to be a pretty good safety shot from Higgins again. Oh dear. Well, it was hit much too thick and.
One.
Wow, what an asset, isn't it? We always say it, but to play that shot with his opposite hand as well as that.
O'Sullivan is beginning to warm to the task after a frustrating opening.
9.
And that's another good pot. It didn't touch the sides. Or sometimes object ball cleaned. Much more often than he used to.
Big area to land in, but he had to really belt it.
17.
Again, he's just coming to terms with himself there. And again, pumping that black in. Emerged at 16 and won all those matches.
25.
And perhaps significant that the last 2 frames, by far and away the swiftest of the evening, have gone the way of O'Sullivan
32.
with meaty breaks. Really.
33.
And then the safety error from Higgins. The switch, does it? 3-0 down, looking a bit fed up, frankly. In fact, more than fed up, angry. From slip.
41.
But suddenly,
$48. $54.
he's won one of the 8 frames available to him against Judd Trump. But Ronnie O'Sullivan looks like he's determined to avoid a similar fate, having fallen 3-0 behind. O'Sullivan beginning to turn it on again now as he closes the gap to just 1 at 3 frames to 2. On the board after it, 45 and 54, so John Higgins pegged back. Frame 6 of the 8 to be played tonight. Higgins down at 85, and yet he's in front.
Again, that collision into a bolt colour, which Well, he's been knocking in some of those sort of long queuing shots. In this.
One.
Well, it didn't go in cleanly, but it was a difficult shot in the first place. It just
5.
hit it well. He didn't put something or not. But that's not a good shot from John. He hit
John
it much
Higgins,
too
10.
thick. The cue ball was meant to retreat right onto the bulk cushion there. He just hit a lot of the red, too much.
One.
The crowd knew that was in possibly before O'Sullivan did. Definite signs, though, that
7.
In the middle of an out again. Let's see how he gets on. Well, that's a delightful shot. Now that is, yes, the Reds looked like they were going to break that nicely. So he had that in his favour, but he executed the shot perfectly. I don't just mean by the possible score.
23.
Some shots he's had to really think through.
line pocket.
31.
That's a really good shot from O'Sullivan.
It's amazing thin. Yes, he had left-hand check side on when it hits the second cushion. The cue ball slows down.
36.
That's good.
In isolation, each shot almost in isolation, and letting the scoreboard take care of itself. O'Sullivan has done in the last 3 frames.
41.
Against him, I think. He's letting the cue ball.
49.
Must admit, I did it 3-1. So full well that the matches have such a
55.
This perhaps the most impressive to date. The way in which he's gone about this, some shots that were very missable.
63.
This is the genius of O'Sullivan in the blink of an eye.
69.
Marcel Eckhart thought he was addressing him, but I think Ronnie was actually talking to the table there.
6.
This game.
Quite superbly engineered by O'Sullivan. The crowd are loving it. They're willing him on. It's well and truly happening now. Food for thought.
The balls are here. The back of the ball is not exactly dancing around. It's
91.
he's enjoying it out there, but he's
90.
found a sort of method. He's
90.
hitting everything at extra pace. He's taken up a very different idea, and that's a terrific century.
It's 8th of a tournament, and I doubt there's been a better one. O'Sullivan solved the puzzle. Spectacular fashion. What panache he possesses. Magnificent stuff from O'Sullivan. He has burst into life here. From 3-0 behind, he ties it up at 3-all. Which is great. Class of 92 rival has been able to conjure there. O'Sullivan 3-0 behind to Dave Gilbert. He ended up winning 6 on the bounce at the end of that first session. Closed it out 10-5. That was not quite as he intended to hit it, but not the worst result. The cue for a response from Higgins. Terrific red. Could easily have been out of position, but on the black.
It's strange though, isn't it? I mean, I can't remember. I think back to Alex
8.
Higgins' era. There was all kinds going on in the audience.
14.
Got to be careful not to knock one in here. He's played it well. He deserves to be on one. I think he's all right. It was a good shot, that, from Higgins. He screwed him in and out of the bunch, fizzed the cue ball into them. OK, went off the side cushion.
Not least because he'd barely troubled the scorers since leading 3-0, just 18 points.
20. Twenty-seven. 34.
O'Sullivan's onslaught checked by Higgins for now.
Get on them. You could see that happening, you know, from the shot before, the ping.
1.
When you were put there from your opponent's shot anyway. I think it's meant to be a mark of, personally, how can he only be on the 8 times on the cushioning?
Thank you. 8.
Access to
9.
the black, and he hasn't freed the pink spot either there.
Game transformed in the last 3 and a bit frames.
Seventeen.
His pot success now on a par with what he's been producing in the 3 rounds to get this far.
23.
One from straightforward. And O'Sullivan was struggling and feeling cross about
31.
things.
Sullivan goes in front. At the end of this frame, then they will have turned. Bad session, bad night at the office.
39.
But he's really knuckled down since then, I think, certainly in the last couple of frames.
O'Sullivan has been throughout his career a real bully once he gets in front, but he's not too shabby from behind either, is he, as he's proving. Turning the screw with his safety play, punishing O'Sullivan for any errors he
47.
made. And I don't think he would have entertained thoughts of trailing at the end of this session.
Moving the red. Well, he certainly played it in that fashion, I think.
55.
Pushing first.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 55.
Well, again, he's done for by the table, the speed of it, and he hasn't snookered him.
So we're back into tight frame territory again, and this is where John Higgins has thrived this evening. Now, before unluckily running out of position. Yeah, that was a good contact, although where's the red going to end up here? Not good for O'Sullivan.
It's all about the red, isn't it? If this goes in, cue ball lands somewhere in the middle of the table, you feel that...
Right in the middle. So another little twist in this first session, potentially. And was looking much the stronger player.
8.
Match are going to be absolutely instrumental to determine
15.
who comes through, and at the moment
20. 26.
that's a big steal from John Higgins, and he needed it, frankly, because he was in danger of becoming a bit overrun by O'Sullivan, who was threatening to win 5 on the bounce, but he's been stopped in his tracks. Higgins in front again at 4-3. Confines of this great city have been looking forward to this battle.
Thank you,
and
it
is not disappointing, is
John
it?
Higgins to break.
John Higgins back in front again to make it 4 on the bounce, beginning to play some sublime snooker, but that run arrested by a combination of a bit of bad luck positionally and Higgins showing his trademark. This the last of the session.
That's nice. That is nice cueing. Cue ball isn't exactly racing up the table, but I think he's got a slight...
Now
7.
to emerge with
this.
15.
It's a beautiful shot. I mean, he's hit that so much harder to have played that shot.
He's never publicly made a fuss about tables. He's just got on with it. Maybe he might change that at the end of this session.
Bad thing, there was a time when
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
any frustrations that he would have shown would have come out differently on the table to what they are now. He's highly competitive. It's been one of those evenings that...
It's worth saying that the table fitters do a tremendous job, and it's a very challenging one here at the Crucible because, of course, this is a theatre. It's not designed to be a snooker venue, never was. But it's all part of the challenge. John Higgins says, good shot.
It goes in a threatening area if you get the shot right. He's got a shot at the red. An escape route.
1.
As well as all the brilliance that we know about.
8.
Yes, he'll show his frustration, but this evening his patience has been tested, regardless of a kick. And of course he is one of those players has, if not eradicated kicks, then certainly dramatically reduced them.
20. $21.
It's another good pot, isn't it?
The difference when
27.
there's a pink. Well, mercifully, for all concerned.
34.
Yes, it's looking awfully like it's a scheme of these two playing each other. It's just... I think it looks a pretty fair scoreline to me.
In particular, from losing the interval, could have been even better for him had he not lost position at the back end of the previous frame. Higgins clearly has played his part, his frames, and indeed in the 7th to move back in front when it looked as though O'Sullivan were going to end up where we started, level pegging. Second semi-final. With O'Sullivan, he won more matches at the Crucible than anyone else. The record number of, but for how long?
75. $82. 85. 89.
Whatever frustrations Ronnie O'Sullivan has been
90.
feeling this evening. Perfectly for the second instalment. There's his second century of the night of the tournament.